Hey y'all, welcome back to the Bible Leadership Podcast. I'm excited because, it's December for us here and we're coming toward the end of the year and we're looking back and figuring, what do I need to be thinking about? What do I need to be considering? What do I need to be concerned about from this last year and into the next? We get to December and we start to think about our New Year's resolutions and what we're going to do and what we're going to change and how we're going to amend our year or do it better or what do we get rid of, all those things. Mark, I know you just came off kind of a couple week eject so that you could actually assess this all well. Walk us through that. Why did you do it and what is beneficial for you?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I found out early, I'm one of these psychopaths that likes to just work a lot. And especially in younger years, I just had a ton of energy. Like anything at all was exciting. Let's do it. And that was really helpful because you get a lot done in those moments. But after a while, you begin to ask the question, am I doing the right things? Am I wasting any time doing some things too much and other things too little?
Sure.
And there was probably also a season that wasn't too long into the church plant where it was like, whew, I am tired. And I don't know that the way I got to this tiredness is a smart way to go again. Is there a way to not end up where I am right now? And so,
that's wise.
As you mentioned, we've developed this yearly annual eject. It's for about 3 weeks. It's right around Thanksgiving time where I get out and get away and go up north into the woods and sit with God and read a bunch and ask some specific questions that I feel like are very fruitful for me.
Yeah.
I want to say, I think it's really helpful. I think it's profitable. I think it gives us perspective. I don't think the way I do it needs to be the way everybody does it.
Sure.
I think it's more doing it anytime that you can and starting where you are probably is just going to start building that habit. And the more you do it, like the more it gets helpful and probably the more you can nuance it to who you are. But I think it was born of wipeouts. I mean, that's how it would start off. It was as a team, we'd have too many things going on at the same time. These two events would hit each other.
Collide, yeah.
We'd go too long and be totally burnt out and just suck in air and try to get through this really hard. Now this extra hard thing, we're entering into that thing tired.
Yeah.
And then even just being like, I feel like the thing we thought was going to be a great idea, we had 3 of those that weren't a great idea. And if we would have just had some time to step back and look at it, we might have made better decisions. So that's the why. That's how we got here. And since I've been doing it, I feel like there's just way more margin in my heart. There's way more, it tends to go right before I'm going to need to rest, we start to rest. And so then you don't get totally burnt out. And I think ultimately for our church over the past several years, we've just made better decisions because what I do is I bring that plan home to y'all, to the staff, to the church, and be like, here's what I'm thinking. What do I not know? Let's build that in. So from a church perspective, that's really helpful. But then also just as a family, as my kids have grown into different stages, making sure you do the right thing in the right stage, or you don't miss something that is uniquely right in this particular group of months. That just takes ejection, it takes perspective, it takes looking at it before you get there and be like, oh crap, I missed that thing. So that's the big deal why to do this.
That's fantastic. Okay, so so much more perspective. Tell me what are the stakes in this? If we just didn't do this, what are some things that could really go wrong?
I think number one, missed opportunities. Okay, so whether it be family, so there's something like we've had years where it was just like, okay, there's a lot happening, but this sweet girl is graduating, and we need to make that we can't have that be like a secondary deal.
Yeah.
That has to be a major deal.
Yeah.
So having missed little things in the past makes that like, oh, we got to hit that.
Yep.
Whatever else we do this year, we got to hit that. But that probably comes from like, oh, I wasn't able to go to the thing because we had this thing going on.
Yep.
So missed opportunities, one, but that also includes church stuff. We've just had so many things going on at the exact same time in early years.
Yep.
There's like, we didn't do any of these good, or there was an awesome thing we could have done if we just would have put it 6 months out.
Yep.
That would have been fantastic. So that's one of them. I think confusion is another one.
Okay.
And I don't know if you remember this, but when we first started the church, there was all kinds of stuff. It's like, well, we're doing this. Oh, we're doing that? Oh my gosh.
Left hand, right hand?
Yeah. I didn't even know we were doing that. And so either something has to be overridden, or then we're trying to do all of it.
Yeah.
And there's even things, well, I can't be here and there at the same time.
Yep.
And so that confusion doesn't just stay like in the schedule, it gets in your bones. You're just like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's not healthy for teams.
No, and there, like you said, there becomes an internal tension, and like a mistrust kind of starts to even breed of like, well, I don't know what they're going to do next. I can't plan on that. So for the team aspect, that's really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think one more that comes to mind is the visual I would give people is if you've ever been swimming with your head down, like maybe you're in a swim meet or something like that, or you're just doing that for some reason, and it begins to like you wonder, am I going the right way?
Am I straight anymore? Yeah.
And there might be a little bit of swim anxiety there, but it's low stakes because you can just lift your head up. But when you're in a life flow and you start to wonder, wow, we were doing a lot, and I'm not sure we're going the right way. And by the way, there's kind of big stakes for whether or not we're going the right way.
Yeah.
And I don't have an eject off ramp to find out.
Yes.
Like I can just gosh, I hope so.
Yeah.
It really is, and I share this often, it's not until you get out that you just start to think a little bit differently. And you're like, wow, that was really fast. We were going really fast.
Yep.
And I think we need to correct this, and this just to start swimming straight again, or to avoid swimming off to the right later on.
Yeah.
So it's that anxiety that comes for I think every leader when you just start to wonder, dude, I think we're doing good stuff, but I'm not positive.
Yeah.
If you're seeking to do stuff in alignment with God's heart, God will let you do a whole bunch of stuff that I hope that was fun, but God was not necessarily asking you to do that thing.
Yep.
And I just don't, I'm old enough now, dude, I don't want to waste any more years doing that stuff. So avoiding that anxiety, I think, is one of the stakes.
Okay. All right. So we've got the stake of missed opportunities, some confusion, and then living in an anxious world because you're just unsure of what's coming next.
Right.
Okay. So that's why those are the risks and why it's so important to do it. Like, okay, what are the benefits? Like, why is this a great thing to do? Not just a good thing to do, but a great thing to do.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Some that come to mind are, one, I think we're tripping a little bit, and we talk about this in the Breakneck Pace series.
Yep. Episode 60 to 62. Go back and watch them.
Look at that. We're tripping a little bit if we think we can just keep adding and never take away.
Yeah.
Knowing what to take away is a lot harder than wanting to add stuff. And I think until we get away a little bit, get Jesus' perspective in stillness, maybe even fasting, and be like, what are you no longer anointing me to do that we need to get rid of? I don't feel like in the fast pace of life you can necessarily hear that super well. So just that greater wisdom in pruning comes when you have perspective from the outside.
That's good. Okay.
I think obviously margin of heart, like there's just when you slow down, you're just thinking more clearly and calmly, and you're considering all the things this might hit, or at least more of them.
Yeah.
And then I think it's a worshipful thing. I never really looked back a ton on like all God had done in the past year or 3 years until I started this practice. Because part of the practice is you're looking into the past and saying, well, what do we do right? What do we do wrong? But in all that, you're producing this like, wow, God, you really showed up.
Yeah.
Brings me to Deuteronomy 8:2, where the Lord, through Moses, reminds the people, remember how the Lord your God led you in all the way in the wilderness these 40 years, to humble you and test you in order to know what was in your heart, whether or not you keep his commandments. But as they would think about that, they remember the humbling.
Yeah.
They remember the discipline, but they also remember the great ways that God showed up.
The
Like, here's a miracle for you. How about this?
Yeah.
And it can be so easy to you're just going down the river so fast, you're not giving God the praise he's due, and really you're not learning the lessons that he spent a little bit of time spanking you about.
Yeah.
So just the worship that comes from that, I think, is huge.
I love that word, remember. It's used in the Bible over 1,200 times, and just the call of God to like, okay, no, slow down. Do you remember how much I've brought you through and to? And yes, like the worship that is produced in that. Oh God, man, you are so much higher and greater than anything I could ever ask or imagine or think or conceive. And like, yeah, it is so beautiful. One of the things that I do. So I do an annual review as well. I'll actually go through my pictures because I forget things that happened. Yep. And oh my goodness, remember when we had that event? Or oh my gosh, when my kid did that? Or I did get together with my girlfriends more than I thought I did.
Yeah.
Like it slows me down to wow, there was a lot of beauty in this last year.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I think our lifestyle just, you know this, our kids can go forever and never be bored. Like I was bored as a kid. They can be they're always, I got something to do.
Something.
You know what I'm saying? But I think our lives can be like that in a sense, that there's just not process time to look back and appreciate what God has done, because there's more even pseudo fun distractions to do that we miss a lot of what God is saying through those remember words.
Yeah. There's a phrase, the years are long, but the days are short.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Maybe I said it in verse. Anyway.
Yeah, the years are short, days are long.
Yes.
Yeah.
But as we do this thing of remembering, as we do this thing of looking back, I think it slows us down enough to see the days as beautiful and to see the years as beautiful, and they don't race quite as quickly.
And that very thing can remind you just how good you have it. I mean, every one of us can feel sorry for ourselves, but when we look back at oh God, I mean, I'm whining here, but you did this, this, and this.
Yep.
And so I think that's really huge.
Okay.
I think one more thing, like an illustration might be, in the old times, in the 1900s we used, and even a little bit in the in the 2000s, we used paper maps. And what I liked about that a little bit more, I still love my GPS, and I like that it just tells me what to do. But you were more inclined to look at the big picture, because you had to know exactly how you're getting from here to here. You had to follow all the right roads and make sure that you get there. And this, for me, feels like that. I feel like I'm panning out. Let me see the whole thing.
Yes.
I don't want to just know the turns.
Yep.
I want to know exactly what it is I'm trying to do, and find out early that doesn't go there. Okay, I need to get a different route to go there, because that's the wrong way.
Yeah.
So that paper map visual is what I'm doing in this annual review.
It's that, let's pan out, let's scope out, let's see all of it at once. Yes.
I just tell myself, I've told some of this story, but we all want to hear it again. I can remember, dude, like in my early days of I had to travel to go to seminars at the seminary that I was attending at the time, and I didn't have a phone that could do GPS. I don't think there was even on phones yet.
No.
And I remember, I had my plan, and I'm driving, and it's probably like a 5-hour drive, dude. And I take one wrong turn, and I drive an hour before I'm realizing, oh, dang it. I got to go all the way. There's not even a way from here. I got to go all the way back.
Yeah.
So that added 2 hours.
Yes.
Just because I didn't have the right plan to get to that place. And so I just think that happens in ministry all the time when we're not thinking about it too sharply.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to dive in. We're going to do just kind of quick. I'm going to say all 8 questions. We're going to come back to them. We're going to, what does this question mean and why it's so important? So here's the 8 questions. Number 1, what are the lessons from the calendar of this last year? So these first few are kind of looking back. What are the lessons from the calendar of the last year? What should you or we probably do less of? What was the least value add? Number 3, what do you pretend not to know? Number 4, what are the greatest opportunities for this coming year? Now we're looking forward. Number 5, what is a must for next year? Number 6, if you could only take ground in 1 or 2 areas, what would they be? Number 7, what would be neat or great, but what would come in third or less of importance? And number 8, what are the goals for this make possible? So what could come of this? So, all right, Mark, let's go back in. I want you to explain the what and the why behind each one. Number 1, what are the lessons from the calendar of this last year?
Right. Yeah, let's walk through them. And just to clarify for everyone listening, we're going to just walk through what they are right now. And then in future episodes, we're going to tease them all out.
Deep dive into each one. Yep.
Exactly what they are. So, number 1, what are the lessons of the last calendar year? What this is about is just saying, as you look back at the calendar that you and God did and you and the family did, are there just things you can intuit of that was the wrong move?
Yeah.
We shouldn't have done that there. Or that was brilliant. Man, we never did it that way before and we did it this way. Let's definitely do that again.
Yeah.
So that's really just what that's about. And it can apply in anything. Family events, ministry stuff, whatever your side hustle is. Just what is some easy wisdom that just looking at this makes me realize?
Yeah. Okay. And why is that so important?
That's so important so you don't have to repeat a bunch of stupid lessons. So in other words, if you don't think about it, you're on autopilot, you just do it again.
Yeah.
And then you look at it much later and you're like, I've done this 3 years in a row and it was dumb every time, but it was dumbest on 2 and 3 because I could have learned it the first year.
Yes. Making the same mistake again and again. Okay. All right. Question number 2. What should you or we probably do less of? Where do I have the least value add?
Yeah, this I think has a lot to do with calling and maybe life stage. So as we grow with the Lord, hopefully we're getting narrower on the very things that He's called only us to do. And so sometimes that can be revealed in prayer. It can be revealed on just what has worked in the past year or past few years. It can work through just His prophetic voice, but it's at least time to set aside and listen. What are you asking me uniquely to do? And then again, what are we saying? You did great with that for a while. You needed to do that for a while. Now it's time to, maybe not everything you want to lay down, but there's a few things that needs to go away if you want to keep accelerating in this direction over here.
Yep.
You might even like it a little bit, but you got to let it go.
Yep. It's not producing the most fruit.
Right.
Okay, number 3, what do you pretend not to know?
Yeah, this one is, I think, it may be, on one level, it's the hardest to understand a little bit, but it is what do you really know subconsciously or just on the edge of your consciousness? This is a thing that is happening. You're trying not to think about it. You don't even want that to be the answer.
Yeah.
But this is really happening. Often it's not till I get slow, and I even just ask the Lord directly, what am I pretending isn't real? What am I pretending that I don't know? What am I pretending isn't a problem? What am I pretending is not going to fix itself? So it could be everything from dude, that sin pattern, that's still here and that's getting worse. And you need to own that.
Yeah.
It could be, the truth is, dude, you're just not spending enough time with that team member or with that kid. And if you want that to be any different, you need to change that now. And you're hoping it'll get better, but there's no reason it will until you own this. It could be, David pretends that he doesn't know he's killed Uriah the Hittite and impregnated Bathsheba. And yet it took the prophet to come tell him. I would have much rather the prophet of the Holy Spirit come tell me, hey dude, look, you gotta turn from this now, or judgment is coming, later on for that. So all kinds of stuff like that. It could be, I need to spend less time with so-and-so, just because it's a real thing. It may be that there's someone you're too close to. It could, there's the brink of an emotional affair, and you're pretending that's okay, dude, and you need to back off now.
Fire.
Find a way around that thing.
Yep.
So you don't have to be messing with it. That's what we mean by what's really there, and you just need to be quiet enough and listen.
Yeah. I wonder if some of the why behind why this is such a great question is because it helps you, it answers the where are my blind spots?
Yes.
Maybe a little bit?
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
And it can also be a version of, people have even told me this, and I've only half heard them, but I need to really pay attention to that because I think that might be real.
Yeah, okay, that's good. All right, number 4, what are the greatest opportunities for this coming year?
Yeah, so this has to do with, every year is going to be different. As we grow old, life changes, different things are happening. Sometimes you're in the life of your family, and there's things that can only happen in the next few years.
Yep.
So you want to make sure, okay, all the other years of my life, I can't do that. So I want to make sure that thing happens.
Yeah.
But it might also be you're just in you're in a momentum swing up, and you need to make sure, okay, catalyze that moment, man. Or you're in a swing down, and if you don't make this decision between these 3 months, if you don't do something different, this thing is going to continue to dip and maybe be unrecoverable. So it's just saying there might be, not everything has super high stakes, but there's some things that might have high stakes.
Yeah.
And so make sure you leverage those.
You don't want to miss it. Okay. Number 5, what is a must for next year?
Yeah, this is where we get real clear on, there's the things that I like and the things that I want, but there's only a few things that this must happen.
This is have to, yes.
As an example, I've got a brother that has been asking me to come visit him for many years. And it was just never an option. And as we looked at the calendar so a year ago from right now, we said, if we don't do this in this year, I just don't know when we will do it.
Yeah,
our kids are the right age, we're the right age, we have the right margin, but that's rare that we have the right margin. So it sounds silly, but I love my brother and I want to see him. And so we said, we must do this. Now, it wasn't life or death, but it was still for us, for the sake of loving this brother. I don't know that we're going to pass this way again if we don't rock this right now.
Yeah.
So that's an example of a must.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Again, crystallizing priorities. Number 6, if you could only take ground in 1 or 2 areas here, what would they be?
Yeah, this is, in a similar way, this is saying, I've got a lot of opportunities. You're going to invest your time in specific places this coming year. And there's some that are that's fun, but that does not necessarily get your ball really into the end zone.
Yep.
The way that these two do.
Okay.
So find out what are the end zone plays. Like what are the things that if you do this,
Yep.
a lot changes, and you don't even have to do it, but you should know that that's what those are.
Yeah.
So you don't pick a bunch of just like these are third tier goals that are like, bro, that's cool and that's a little helpful. That's a 2% improvement in whatever you're trying to do. Yeah. This other one is a 40% improvement.
Yeah.
Like that's just knowing that, because sometimes you know this when you're a leader, things swirl around. Like I got to do that, and I got to do that, and I got to do that. But you don't necessarily have perspective of which ones of those is actually important. And sometimes the one that is weightiest feeling on you is actually the least important thing for you to do.
Yeah.
And you just need margin in place to find that out.
Yep. The tyranny of the urgent versus the actual important.
Right.
Yes. Okay. That's good. Number 7, what would be neat or great but would come in third or less in importance?
Yeah, this is kind of like maybe the inverse or adjacent. I don't know how you'd say it, but it's the other side of that previous coin.
That last question, yeah.
It's just saying, this is where you get really shrewd and you just say, I know they want to do that project, and I know that I really want to do these projects. The truth is, though, that's a number 3, and that's a number 3.
Yep.
I've got to disappoint both of us and tell each of us, I'm sorry, that's really cool. You can't do that until we do this.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing.
Yeah. I think that's so good to level in those things. I want to talk about it, but we're going to do that in a different podcast. And finally, our question number 8, what do the goals for this make possible?
Yeah, I like this question. I think it's one of the hardest because it requires really thinking through if X, then Y. Even if you accomplish, say you've got 5 goals and they'd all do really good. It's not until we think, but if I do goals 3 and 4, they open up a door to do goals 7 and 8.
Yeah.
And those would be awesome. So we're not even close to 7 and 8, but if I did 3 and 4, that would just make some things possible that getting these other goals, those would be good, but they don't open up new doors the way that these other ones do.
Yeah.
So that's where you just got to think through, what are the results of this that I could then do this? So an example, if you decide, okay, I can go back to school this year, or I can just focus on these other set of priorities that I've got. And it might be there's a lot of years that going to school is not right, but you might get to the year that it's like, if I do this now, this, and this happen in the future.
Yeah, that catapults you.
Right.
Yes.
And I need those things to happen by then. So that means I've got to go back to school now.
Yeah. That's so good. Mark, cast some vision for us. We already talked about some of the benefits, but like, where have you seen this make a huge difference in your life?
I think one of the most enjoyable things for me
is
just the feeling like me and Jesus are on the same page a lot more of the time.
Yeah.
Like there's in my early years, I would just be like, man, Jesus, we're going, man. We're taking every hill. And I just learned over time, just because he's with you doesn't mean he's anointing that, or like you guys are really building together.
Yep.
He's building, and then he's allowing you to like piddle around with these sandcastles over here.
Yep.
There's a thrill to just knowing, okay, I'm sure I'm wrong about something, but as far as I understand, I'm re-synced with the master. I'm doing what he wants me to do.
Yes.
And that means I've had to cut. That means I've had to sacrifice, or I've had to embrace stuff that maybe my flesh didn't want to. But what are we doing this for? Like, I'm doing this for him to begin with.
Yeah.
So just having to regularly come back to that and be like, God approves of the plan or what I know about it.
Yeah.
That's a glorious, just relational fellowship thing to be happening.
Yeah. The word commissioning comes to mind. Like as you're doing this, you feel like, okay, I feel like the Lord is in this decision too, and there's a greater purpose and like, okay, we can do this.
Yes.
We've got this next.
And so that confidence, because there was time to plan it with the Lord. He didn't speak about everything, but some things you got a direct word from God. He was like, this is important. So when you get to that point in the year, you're like, and there's friction or there's like devil opposition, you're like, nah, dude, I know God talked about this. We need to do this. Like that, you just feel so much better about it.
I think when you brought up school, my husband went back to school this past year to just finish his bachelor's. We're 40 and just getting there. But I think because we had done some of this year in review and decided this is the year to do that so that X, Y, and Z happen next. in the middle of the days where it feels really dreary and daunting,
Yeah.
remembering, okay, no, we sat down and decided this, and the Lord brought us to this decision.
Come on, girl.
It gives a greater confidence and a more stalwart spirit of like, I can keep going.
Yes.
We've got this.
Yes.
And so that's fantastic.
This wasn't a guess.
Yeah. All right. Last nugget, Mark. What do you want us to really? What point do you want to drive home? Why?
I would embrace that Jesus is in the process. So as we walk through these things, like this isn't just a. I think the world has a version of like, oh, let's just have a planning retreat. There's nothing wrong with that, but Jesus will meet us. Like there's personal developmental. Like it's not just that he talks about your schedule or your year. He talks about you. He talks about your soul. He talks about like I've had God cast vision for like. God, who do we want to be together? Like, who am I being with Jesus? And like, what's my integrity stuff that you want to, oil change is not relational enough to say, but there's stuff that he's doing in your spirit that he's the lover of your soul, and this is a canvas to paint on with him, but even the outcomes are not really the gold in it, like the sweet, special marshmallow middle. Is Jesus himself.
Yes.
As you guys you just hug and you just talk and you get back in the zone, baby.
Yep. All right, so we're gonna land with Proverbs 14:8 again, like giving careful thought to our ways, considering this. Great years just don't happen by accident. They happen because wise people ask the right questions with God.
Amen.
So we're going to come back to these. We're going to have episodes on each of these questions. So next time, join us back, and we're going to dive deeper into what are the lessons from the calendar of the last year and get deep into it.
Thanks. See you guys next time. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. Hey, if this was helpful, would you consider liking and sharing, putting it places where other people who need this kind of content are going to find it? Also, you may know that we have a lot of other places you can find our stuff, TikTok, Instagram, all the things. So go ahead and check those out in places where you're going to be anyway. And don't forget to lead strong today.